son again.
She has two distinct values that stand out: perseverance and hard work. A woman in the right place at the right time. On the ballot now, UNC Deputy Political Leader and Coordinator for La Horquetta Talparo, Jearlean John.
Good evening to the viewing public. Welcome to the UNC Virtual Political Platform. I make reference tonight to a young man named David Malone Hughes, whom I've come across during one of my many walkabouts. David had been very vocal in his advocacy for youths in the Wallafield area. So during my presentation at a Monday night forum held in Brazil, February of last year, I saw David standing at the front of the audience and called him to come on stage and tell Trinidad and Tobago what he has been telling us. David that night said that the youths were crying out for change and are willing to work hard. David said there are many who were overqualified and educated and yet are still unemployed and therefore in dire need of guidance and support. David said the youths were seeking opportunities. The very next day, the Minister of National Security, Mr. Young, held a press conference and with files in hand told Trinidad and Tobago David had a long rap sheet and proceeded to read out what was in that file. The Prime Minister also weighed in. That same day saying David had a rap sheet as long as his arm. Quote, "You see, Rowley knows who is a criminal and pest as long as it is Young and black. But he and Young knew nothing about Delcy Rodriguez's business." Young at his press conference said, "I, as in me here, was converting with criminal elements to gain political ground. You see, when David of Wallafield asked for an opportunity, Young pulled his file and told Trinidad and Tobago he was a criminal. He went further and said inter alia that Jearlean John seemed to have taken on a disturbing mandate to do certain work in the East-West corridor. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a direct quote. Young found that by trying to assist the poor, the downtrodden, the outcasts, those whom had voted overwhelmingly to secure him high office was a disturbing mandate. If telling youths the only way out of poverty is through education, training, and discipline is wrong, then I don't want to be right. If encouraging young people to keep hope alive, to do the right thing, and that nothing is wrong with having big dreams, and to go as far as your ambition and determination will take you, if that is wrong, Stuart Young, I don't want to be right. David of Moonan Road, Wallafield, asked for an opportunity, and Young believed instead David should be publicly shamed, embarrassed, and ridiculed. Stuart's brother Angus was in the media recently attempting to explain his sudden run of luck. He's a better investor than Warren Buffett. It could be, because I had to speculate now, that he benefited from a good old Tobago bush bat. And I'm jealous, because I'm Tobagonian after all. By way of explanation, he told us he bright, he wife bright, and she's a rock star. I actually read that somewhere, you can't make this stuff up. But during one of my walks in Jacob Hill, Wallafield, I met Jearlean. She's 38 years old and she has 8 children. I asked her, "Girl, how are you managing?" She said, "I go to work every single day. I get up and go to work. Work starts for me at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I return home by 6:30 to look after the children and send them to school." Jearlean of Jacob Hill, you rock for me. Last Sunday, I met a gentleman by the name of, from the Horquetta that is, he said his name was Paiman. Paiman told me that earlier in that week, a lady had asked him for a pie, which he gave to her. He said as he was driving off, he decided to look into his rearview mirror. And there he saw this lady with all her children standing in a line, 13 of them. And she was moving the pie across, giving every one of the children a bite of the pie. So Pie Man reversed, gave every child a pie and some juice. And there he was thinking his wife will kill him because he'll bring home short money. But Pie Man said, Mother Teresa said, not all of us can be great. Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. Mr. and Mrs. Pieman, you rock. You are my rock stars. Carrie from the Horquetta, phase 4, told me the doctors had deemed her medically unfit. She said she cannot work. She said, Miss Jearlean, right now I hold down 3 jobs. She cannot deem medically unfit. I hold down 3 jobs. Because you see them 2 boys right there? One has sickle cell. They are my everything. But I holding on them 3 jobs to ensure that these boys will do better than I did. Kerry, girl, you keep defying the odds. You are my rock star. And then there's a woman I know. Her name is Vida John, who played a key role in sending me to school. My uniform was a white shirt and a brown skirt. Vida could only have afforded 1 white shirt at the time. So every day she'll wash that, every afternoon she'll wash the shirt and iron it on mornings for me to look neat at school. And then the color of the shirt became frayed, so she turned it around. And then that became frayed. And Vida took her 1 white Sunday dress and ripped the skirt and made me a brand new shirt to go to school. Vida, my loving mother, you are my rock star. You rock. We meet so many people every day, heroes helping each other. Not because they have so much, but because, as Martin Luther King said, you only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Kamla Prasad Bisesa did not create the Children Life Fund and paid contribution out of her own pocket from a salary because she had nothing to do with money. It was because she believed every sick child from Trinidad and Tobago must have access to the best medical care. She built hospitals and health centers because she was sick and tired of seeing old people dying in the corridors of the hospital where we were waiting for over 48 hours to get a bed. She mandated, one day we were touring an admin building adjacent to the San Fernando General Hospital. And she looked at me, she said, yes, you Jearlean. And when she calls me Jearlean, it's a sign. She said, I want this converted into a hospital, and in 18 months. Now we are taking an admin building and converting it to a hospital. The codes are different. But in 18 months, we delivered a 216-bed hospital tower into San Fernando. On the then Prime Minister's vision, we designed, mobilized, and completed the Cougar Children's Hospital, which, it took a pandemic for Rowley and Jearlean to open. We mobilized the construction of a Rima Hospital and Point Fortin Hospital. And I played a pivotal role in that under the direction of the then Minister of Housing, Dr. Munilal, and of course our Prime Minister. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa instructed me to design a program for persons who are resident in tenanted HEC communities for over 30 years, that they can buy their houses for $100. These are people who live on Duncan Street, George Street, Methuen Street, Pleasantville, Prince Street, Lisa's Gardens. It's not because those persons in the main supported her politically. It is because she believes Trinidad and Tobago belongs to all of us, and everyone deserves a place to call home. The laptop for every child entering secondary school was implemented by a visionary Prime Minister. No one contemplated a world with COVID, but when you do things for the right reasons, when it is based on principle, it was based on the principle that every child, no matter their circumstances, must have access to a computer. Incidentally, that would have solved the issues of children being out of school right now for the Easter and August terms. So, Rowley don't have the people who put him in office to study, especially since his enablers are assuring him he did so well with COVID. And they're telling him he's on a fast track to general election victory. So he's on television every day, like if he's Denzel Washington, preening and complimenting himself. But I have a message for Rowley tonight, because Mujahid from Exora, Jacob Hill, has 10 children. 8 are his, 2 are his wife, brother, and sister because the mother died. They have been waiting for assistance with building material, and a hamper will also help. Unlike you, sir, COVID wasn't good for them. Kurt of Gladiolus Crescent in La Horquetta need a hamper and other assistance for his special need child. Somehow the COVID 21 billion gravy chain didn't pass by his yard. Mr. Simon of Phase 2, of Phase 3 La Horquetta is a stroke victim. He lives alone and is in need of a hamper and personal care. COVID has not done any good for him. Young Ronaldo from Tudge Road, born with cerebral, ran out of food because his father couldn't work due to the COVID shutdown. He is still awaiting his celebratory COVID hamper from your government. The Prime Minister needs to stop caring about how he looks on television, because COVID comes, COVID goes. These people suffering under your government. As a matter of fact, I am hearing persistently and consistently, they are saying that the real pandemic is Rowley. This is my promise to you. A KPB government will re-establish the Ministry of the People, just as she had done before. This will ensure that our citizens will not feel that they have to go through their day-to-day challenges alone. A KPB government will do everything it can to ease the pressures and burdens of the pandemic. After all, we are in this together. So UNC continue to work hard and serve the people, as our leader exhorts us to do. Don't let your feet leave the ground. Do not let the noise and old talk get to you. Your UNC campaign is on solid ground, led by the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Our campaign is grounded by one of the most formidable, hard-working, humble team ever assembled in Trinidad and Tobago politics. Just keep the faith with Sean Sobers in San Fernando West. Keep the faith with the very strategic Michelle Benjamin in Moruga Tableland, the brilliant Senator Saddam Hussein in Sawa Barataria. The hunt is on with Aloy Hunt in St. Joseph, David Naked, the People's Warrior in Tunapuna, Nabila Green in Toko Sandy Grande. They will not let you down. I know you're holding strain for an announcement from the Horquetta Talparo, but rest assured, the war room will come through for you. We will not fail you. We are going to beat them in the north. We're going to beat them in the south. We're going to beat them in the west. And I know for sure that the corridor tumbling down for the UNC. Without fear of contradiction, we are going to win this next election. So people keep the faith in Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Just keep the faith and keep hope alive. Thank you.